Hello friends, this is Chris with Peace of Mind, Art and Craft. And today I'm just going to take you along on my journey while I'm slow stitching. It really isn't a tutorial or anything, although I may cover a couple of things that you have not seen before. Probably have seen most of these things I'm going to show you, as I've had other videos on them also, so you could check those out if there's anything that you see on this one that you're interested in. Chances are I have another video on my list that covers it in more detail. First of all, I want to just say I hope you all are doing well, and I want to thank you again for all of my subscribers that are watching, and also for the people that are going over to my Etsy shop and purchasing some of my items. I've been selling a lot there lately, and mostly kits, which is great. I love selling my slow stitch kits, and I think I have 11 on there now. I'm working on a new one. It's going to be a mountain cabin, and it's going to be similar to the beach house and the English cottage in that it has a pattern with it, and you can put it together using the pattern or any way you want to do it. Today I have been working on making some more pouches, slow stitch pouches for my Etsy shop. I had 2 of them in there a few months ago, and I sold them both, and thank you, those of you that got those. I do still have a couple of stitchery books over there, I think. I also have, oops, that came up. I also have some slow stitch hearts that I just put in my Etsy shop, and I'll show you those. Just a heart that has been cut out of muslin, and it has a heart on both sides. You embroider the first side before then putting the second side on, to cover over your the back on your embroidery. This one has a little bunny, has some slow stitch lazy daisy, flower out of the lace. This is the lace. I bought a whole bunch of this at one time, and so I can either use it just like a whole piece on a, like, for example, maybe a journal cover or something, or I can cut out the little flowers or different things, leaf shapes, out of the fabric, and then applique them or embroider them down to my slow stitching. This is just a little piece of muslin that I had stamped with the word dream. I don't know if I have a video on that or not. I think I do. Where I save all my, here's my package. I save all my scraps of muslin, and then I do make some yo-yos out of them, but then I also stamp on them, and then so that I can cut them up and put them in my slow stitch kits, and also use them for my own slow stitching. And besides, mostly it's like bees, butterflies, things like that. And I do some words, but usually it's like a short word. Okay, and here's another one in my Etsy shop. This one has some lace underneath the fabric, and a little bluebird, and some leaves and stems with some little French knot blue flowers. And then I like to add little buttons here and there for interest. There's another one that has a few items on it. It has some buttons on it also. It has some of the lace. Little puppy dog. And these are all just, pretty much all just plain on the back, the plain muslin. Here's another bunny. This is a piece of an old handkerchief button. some flowers. This one I went around twice with a pink and then one with the blue. This blue is kind of a neat thread. It's like a satiny thread. It's hard to work with though because the strands separate really easily and so it's hard to thread. Okay. Here's another one, Paris. This is another example of stamping on muslin and then cutting it out and sewing it down to your slow stitch items. Here's another one with the bluebird. These are actually flowers that are printed on the fabric, and then I added some slow stitched lazy daisy stitches and made some more three-dimensional flowers. But these almost blend in together, and sometimes it's hard to tell, especially when I went in and I did some of the leaves and the stems with some green thread. It just all blends together. Here's one with another stamp. This has a little stamped muslin heart on there. Okay, so like I said, those are in my Etsy shop. These are great, either if you want to make one or buy one. These are great to use on front covers of journals. They make a really nice addition, or you can even use them on another slow stitch instead of backing them and having them be like a little ornament heart. You can just take the slow stitched heart and put it down to another piece of fabric that you're going to then slow stitch around. Excuse me. Okay, so let me show you what the pouch is like. I showed you the lace that I cut out some little pieces from. And I have most of the things that I'm going to put on this pouch. Actually, I already have it started, and it's almost kind of nearly done. But I'll show you the whole thing. And I do have instructions, which I will link down below in the instruction box below, on how to make the entire slow stitch pouch. That's actually one of my most popular videos, is the slow stitch pouches video, which I have several of them. So I hope you'll look at that, and I know many of you have because of the numbers that I see on people that have viewed them. And so I hope you're making your own pouches. Let's see, this is just like a piece of white quilted fabric that I started with. Although you can use any kind of fabric that is more substantial. You wouldn't want to use just a plain piece of thin cotton for this because it needs to have some body, because it's going to be like a pouch or a little purse. Okay, so this is an embroidery that some other dear lady did. Isn't it beautiful? It's from a dresser scarf, and I just cut around it, and then I put it down. This is the back of the pouch, and it actually covered, her dress went longer than what I needed for the pouch. So basically what I did was, since it didn't really have a direction if it's going this way, was I just turned it, and I'm using it going this direction. Then I added some other things here. I will put some French knots on here, and then I have some things here that I will sew down. Let's see, where was I here? Oh, I was on this. I was sewing down this butterfly. I think I'm going to come over here and continue to sew it down. I did use a lot of straight stitches in this, and the reason I was able to do that is because of this embroidery that I already had that had some really wonderful French knots, some lazy daisy stitches that were all done. You guys, this is all stitching, and it's like really, really, it doesn't stick out very much. She must have just used like probably 2 or maybe 3 strands of the floss. Even these blue flowers, these are, I mean, this must have taken a long time just to do one of these. These are actually embroidered. That's actually thread on those blue flowers. This is just a piece of ribbon that was already like this, and I just tacked it down with some green thread so that it wouldn't, you know, so that could tack it down, but it would look like more additional leaves on there. And like I said, I plan on putting some French knots for these flowers on this stem of greenery here. Okay, and I'm just doing your regular slow stitch or running stitch. I'm not worrying about making it super straight, or and I can even vary the width of my stitches if I want. This piece here is, this blue piece is a piece of an old handkerchief also. And a lot of times these handkerchiefs, if you get them at like an antique store, or some of you may even have like older relatives that have left them, they're usually very thin. They've been, you know, handkerchief, you have to wash it a lot of times. So they've been washed a lot of times, and they get very thin. They do still make these decorative handkerchiefs that you can buy. I don't think they're real expensive. I haven't tried buying any, you know, of the new ones. And there'll come a time when we won't be able to find any more antique stuff in the stores. As far as linens and stuff. Oh, I hate it when I do that. Get a knot there. The thing to do is to try to get it out and not pull it any tighter than it's already pulled. To loosen it up. And it's even trickier trying to do it on camera. Oops. Well, I messed it up. There, I got it. And then now I'm pulling it through very slowly. Here's another example where I put down two examples where I put down the motif of that flower, that lace, that pink lace. See how I'm doing for time? I'm doing okay. I am using, boy, I'm having a hard time. I don't know if it's because I'm getting caught on something, but I think it's because I'm using 6 strands, and that's pulling 12 strands through. Maybe I should try to lift that up a bit. Pulling 12 strands through, sometimes it gets kind of heavy. And even if I might add more, which I probably will add a French knot to the middle here, but even if I might add more to these flowers, I actually have this upside down, which really doesn't matter, but it would have been prettier on the other side. I still am going through it to tack it down. Yeah, it's that lace that it's catching on. Some fabrics just don't like thread going through them, especially the woven fabrics. See if I can get it in the back here. It's a little catching again. Well, this will be an interesting video to watch. If you're still with me, after all my fumbling around here. You can always fast forward on any videos. I do that a lot. If it's something that I already know about, or... Okay, so what I'm going to do on here is I'm just going to do one stitch at a time and be very, very slow and fold it through. And that's what you have to do sometimes. Sometimes you can do 2 or 3 stitches at a time. But other times you just have to be a lot more gentle. Okay. Okay, this pin right here is to mark the flap where it flaps over, but I don't think I'll need that anymore since I pretty much know by now where it is. Okay, and a lot of times you might want to put this flap down occasionally while you're sewing, just so you can see how you're doing as far as placement. Looks good. I think I'll end off here, and I'm going to use this same color to make some French knots. I hope you all have been practicing your French knots. All it takes really is doing it like hundreds of times. Then you become good at it. It's like anything. I'm still not good at washing dishes though. Maybe it's because I am not quite as interested in washing dishes as I am in embroidering. What do you think? Okay. So your good old French knot, you come up, you hold the thread with your thumb, you go around 2, 3, or 4 times, depending on how big you want the knot to be and how many strands you've got. And you put it back down right where you came up. And you take your thumbnail and you hold it in place. And while you're holding it with your thumbnail, you pull it through. And you're still holding it. And then you get all the way down, tug it a little, and you can take your thumbnail and kind of squash it down. Makes a nice little flower. So what I plan to do after I finish the stitching on this is I plan to put a lining in it and then sew it up the sides, and I do show you how to do that in the video on how to make the the slow stitch pouch. See how that thread separated a little bit? And that was because I wasn't holding it down with my thumb, but I can still get it to work. Okay, I'll do one more on camera. And I'm going around 3 times. I think if you're using 6 strands, 3 times is a good number for the turns. If you're using 3 strands, then you might want to go around 4 times. Okay. Put this back here. Okay, and then this will be all sewn down. I need to, and then when I have it, before I put the lining on, I'll sew a button on here so that I can cover over that place where I sewed the button on with the lining. Okay. Still have a few things to do on this side of the back. Thank you for joining me today. I wish you all peace of mind. Take care. Bye for now.